to live.
Yes, live.
Live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
Yes, it does start right now. It is Wednesday. Welcome to the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz. Joined this week, mystery guest, the one and only Brad Bauruck. He must have gotten sick on one of those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because he was out last week.
Yeah,
so he has returned. His contract has been worked out. He's got a contract extension, and he is back, everybody. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, this time it's not negative this month, so that's a positive, right? You know,
right.
I'm not paying to be on this.
Exactly. All right, well, we got lots of stuff to talk about today because, you know, we've all been so busy, but we have a very special guest joining us today, and that special guest is the one and only Chris Chelios, who is the coach of the Naperville Sabres and is a legend in the hockey community, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you, Chris.
Happy to be here.
Good. Well, you know, we always enjoy when we get one of Chris's games because he's always got a smile on his face, and he's one of the nice guys to work with and talk to. He's not one of the guys that beats you up typically, which is, you know, a little unique for some of the coaches out there. But, you know, if you've worked his games, you know Chris, and he's a great guy, and he's a fantastic coach. He always puts a premium product out on the ice. So if you're fortunate enough to do one of his games, you're going to have some fun out there because he's got some great players on his teams, and he's very busy developing players all the time. Chris, I know you played pro. Can you tell me a little bit about your background in terms of your pro career?
Yeah. So after I got done playing juniors here at Washington in the USHL, played my years at the University of Wisconsin Superior, and then afterwards had the opportunity to play in the East Coast Hockey League with the Baton Rouge Kingfish. Then from there, went to Germany, played a year there at Herforder. As that was a good time. And then came back to the States, played for the Shreveport Mudbugs, and that's where I ended my my career.
Very cool. How long have you been with Sabres now?
Oh, geez. This is, 2002. So over 18 years. Yeah.
That's
over
amazing.
18 years.
Did you work?
Crazy.
I mean, did you have another organization before that, or did you just go right to Sabres? Did you kind of start there?
Yeah. Just,
oh.
I was just going to bring it up. Scott, I was going to bring it up is, Chris, you also had a stint with Robert Morris Women's, correct? The hockey team? Yeah,
I did.
Won a national championship, didn't you?
Yeah. We had a good run there. We won a couple national championships. A few runner-ups. Good run. Yeah. So I just, I was there with, I got that job when I was a year into coaching with the Sabres, along with being the hockey director all seasons. So when I got that opportunity, Rob Morris coach came up to me and asked me if I'd like to be the assistant coach and help him out there skating out of our rink. I'm like, yeah, no brainer. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of a different pace, right? When you go from coaching little kids to coaching midgets to then women's hockey, right? So it's just so many different ways to coach, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of great coaches, coached a lot of great players. So it was unfortunate when Robert Morris moved the program to McFedridge on the city. I couldn't make that drive every day. And just because, everything I had at the Sabres, the commitment I had there, all seasons ice rinks, and with everything going on, I just couldn't do it. It would take a huge chunk of my time. So I was very grateful to Tom Wendlandt that passed away a few years. Just a great guy. Did a lot for the Robert Morris program, and I believe now they're called Roosevelt. Is that true?
Yeah. They just merged with Roosevelt. Yep.
Yeah. So but like I said, they all treated me really well there. It was a great experience,
Hey, Chris, I just want to point out because of the women's hockey part, and is it how do I say this without stepping on anybody's toes? Is it a good thing to see more women officials working in the women's side of hockey instead of men? I mean, I don't think anybody really cares in the long run. But I'm just saying, this is something I've noticed since I played in the area, you played in the area. When we were kids, there wasn't really much women's anything. I mean, there was some AAA, and then the women had to fold into the men's programs. And to me, I'm blown away on how much women's hockey has grown in this state and throughout the country. And I just want to, I would like to see more women officials. I think that's what I'm trying to put out there. Is it better to see more women officials on those games and them developing, or does it matter either way? Or I'm just curious from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I don't look at their gender at all. You know what I mean when it comes down to coaching.
I didn't think so.
So try to be politically correct. No, just kidding. But
no,
still not going to get that interference call in the neutral zone.
Oh, come on, man.
I just want to point out that, for all of us, I think sometimes we overthink stuff like that. And that's why I had a tough time even wording it. Yeah. An official's an official, a player's a player. The game might be a little different in the rules, but we're still ultimately doing the same thing. We're trying to put a 3-inch disc into a 4x6 net.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I hope all of us can understand that. So I just want to point that out to the parents, the fans, the coaches, because some people, we've had complaints before and I've heard about it. Oh, well, she's a woman. So what? She's working a game.
Supposed to make a difference. I mean, in terms of, the caliber of play or the difference in the caliber of officiating, it shouldn't make a difference.
I totally agree.
And the thing is, like you said, I've been coaching for a long time, and I've had a lot of women refs, right? And the thing is, what I do, I approach everyone the same way, right? Like, if you want respect from an official, you have to give respect, right? And that's the way I kind of looked at it, right? And but like I said, not everyone's gonna be on their A game, male or female. But like I said, I've had for instance, like look at Erin Blair, right? Like, you know, she's reffing at a high level, and she's very passionate about it. And she's, you know, like I said, she's a woman ref that, honestly, like I've had, you know, actually, you know, she 1 year coached with me at Robert Morris. So it was a pleasure to share bench with her, but also it was a pleasure to be on the other side of it, right? You know, and there's sometimes like myself and Erin, like we agree to disagree on things. She sees things one way, I see things other ways. But at the end of the day, I have the most respect for Erin Blair and many of the other women officials, you know. And like I said, you know, the way I look at it is, you know, you look at a game situation, right? It's not like the NHL where if there is some sort of say if there was a no goal, right? Well, they can go and review it on a camera. Well, you guys can't, you know, male and female. So the thing is that you've got to give a lot of leeway when it comes to that. You know what I mean? I remember back in the day, we're in a state championship with the Cyclones, right? And we made a huge comeback. We were 1 goal away. We pulled the goalie. I'm sorry, we're 2 goals down. I pulled the goalie. We scored. And then I pulled the goalie again. And one-timer by Weiss in the slot. And puck went through the net. Everybody behind was hands are up in the air, fans are cheering, and refs called no goal, right? So after the stoppage, I do got that in video if you want me to send that to you. That was in.
actually, seriously, send it to me.
We'd love
I
to.
will.
Yeah, I mean,
now that you have my email, anybody that ever has any video that they want to like show off or like that we can use, because that's a learning tool for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, young man.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
Little
like,
Chelly.
there's not. Yeah. Well, there's you know, the thing is, I looked at that situation, right? Like when that happened, right? And then the play stopped. I asked the guy, I said, hey, listen, did you see the puck go in? And I was calm about it. And he did go over there and check the net. And he said there was no holes in the net where, you know, like where I was at, it was hard to see if it was in, but everybody in the stand saw it, right? And the whole thing, the reason why I have it is there was a guy, I think from some channel, he gave the video to one of my players. So I got to see it after, you know, a few days later, and it was a goal. But the thing is, you know, there's no instant replay during youth hockey. You can't, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's basically what he saw, you know what I mean? So it was an unfortunate for the kids. Yeah, it was. But at the end of the day, you know, there's only so much a referee can do, male or female, you know. But honestly, like, you know, my experience in the last 18 years with referees, I mean, it's been great. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't had any problems, you know. Like I said, there's been some disagreements, you know. I don't always got this smile on my face, you know what I mean? But
that he does.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. It goes a long way because not everybody has a smile.
Well, you know, like I said, you know, I enjoy coaching. That's the thing. Like every time I'm on that bench, I enjoy it. And like I said, you know, like I like to kid around with the refs. I mean, you guys are just human, right? Like, you know, you guys, you know, you have day jobs, you have this, you have a lot of things going on in life. You know what I mean? Like, why not? You know, like, hey, let's talk, like, little chats in the game. That's cool with me. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I think sometimes coaches, they kind of take the game to the extreme, right? You know, and because the game is a very emotional game. It's a game that not only the players, right, but the coaches get into it, right? And it's that type of special game that we coach and we play that makes this game so unique, you know?
Absolutely.
You know what's wonderful, Chris? Me and Scott were talking about that exact same thing the other day when we were refereeing our 3 games together, and it was something that we were going to bring up to you on how the emotion plays into it. And, you know, it's never I don't think it's that we dislike each other ever. It's just we may see things a little differently. And, you know, there's a saying, anytime you see something with vertical stripes, you automatically disagree with it. So when a referee gets up,
I like your other line better. People actually like us. They just don't like the uniform we wear.
Yeah, they like you as a person. They just don't like what you're wearing. You know, and that human side of the game is what I'm curious about. How important is an interaction before the game with an official that you might not know or an official that you know either way?
Yeah, well, you know what, and the thing is, like, I don't know, for many years, I can tell when an official comes talk to me before a game, I kind of could tell how the game's going to go, right?
That's
sometimes
interesting.
the way sometimes the way they approach, if they're just kind of like their mood, right? The way they're going to ref the game before the game even starts, right? This is what they're going to do. You know, some refs like, hey, listen, I'm going to let it play out. If things got out of hand, I'm going to tighten it up. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, there's just, like you said, some of the conversations we have, you know what I mean? You know, especially out of state tournaments, I'm like, hey, what's the best brewery around here? You know, but
Right.
But the thing is, you got, I think at that point, right before the game, referees, they're just trying to feel you out as a coach, and they try, and because sometimes like I'll be sitting on a bench, and they'll come and approach me, and they're like, I won't mention any coaches' names, but like, oh man, we got him again. And I'm just like, hey, he's a good guy, you still get to know him, but at the end of the day, like I said, they know who the coaches are to not watch out for, but when it comes down to officiating, they'll know like, hey, this guy's gonna give us a hard time. You know what I mean? Like, they just, I think their mood kind of changes a little bit, right? I think if you go on and when you talk to the guy before the game and you ask them how their day is and things like that, like it just I think it goes a long way. You kind of make that connection with the ref. And then also too, like, during, if there's if he tells me, hey, I want to talk to your captain, I won't say anything to the refs. I'll just send my captain. And I say, hey, tell my captain, be very respectful when you go up to him. And basically, I kind of feel it just makes the game. It just makes the game better, right? It just makes it loosens the ref up a little bit. He knows that no one's going to be screaming at him because he's got you figure 40, 50, 60 other parents they're going to possibly do it. And that's why you guys
do the job for you. You don't need to do it, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And they're doing it with binoculars.
Yeah,
exactly.
And passion.
Oh, absolutely, and a few cocktails too.
Oh, that never hurts.
Depending. Well, I was going to say depending on what time of the day, but I've seen parents out there at like 6 a.m. So I'm walking in for a 7 a.m. game, and they're out there, and I'm like, hey, no offense to all the parents that do that. I got to say, living your best life, that's fine as long as you keep it classy in the stands. I don't care what you do.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
They should be enjoying themselves. I mean, it's fun for everybody. Let's not kid ourselves. That's why we do this. We love it.
Well, well, for what they pay for it, they should definitely be enjoying themselves throughout the day, as they're watching their favorite athletes compete in a game that's, if you really kind of think about it, it's very unique. Our game. It's on ice. You have a stick. You're propelling a puck. Can't use your hands really. You're changing on the fly. I mean, there's icing. It's super complicated. There's offsides. I mean, you can hurt each other.
Going on.
Lots
of things going on. And
what here. And what I was gonna say is that like you said, we talked about how the whole game is about emotions, right? And the thing is, you got the parents up in the stands; they're also sharing that emotion, right? Like you said, my son Braden that you saw a little bit ago, he started playing mites. You know what I mean? So I'm on the other side of the glass watching, because like I said, I've always said I don't want to coach my kid, right? I just want to watch him grow with the game. So when I'm on the other side, right, and I'm usually. Well, my wife's Italian and Irish, you know what I mean? So she gets really involved in the game here. Don't she's not watching this. But the thing is, like, I kind of watch, things happen on the ice. And when something happens to my son, you know what I mean? I'm calm about it. I'm like, oh, he's all right. You know what I mean? The missus, it's a little bit different because it's mom. But it is something as a coach, I learned the last couple of years, kind of watching my son from the outside. It is a different game from that point where the parents watch, because at the end of the day, like even like in my meetings with the parents before the year, like I just tell them straight out, I say, listen, let me do the coaching, let the officials do the officiating, and you just stay up there, enjoy your kid, watch him grow, watch the time you have, because it's so small, like 3 or 4 years, they're gone, It's true. So at the end of the day, I try to tell parents like, hey, just don't make my job hard, right? Don't get on these guys. I mean, once in a while you get someone here and there. And Brad, I think I know, the kind of parents, there's a couple of parents, about, we've talked about. And like I said, and I think parents don't realize like, hey, like referees know who you are up there. And, and once they turn around and look at you and you're that guy, they're just going to kick you out. And I agree when that happens. You know what I mean? Like, because what happens is it's kind of like, when the parents, they kind of go at it, right? Like, it's like, when the kids, right? As a coach, if I don't control my kids and I go on, if I'm on the bench being nuts and stuff and I start yelling at you guys, this and that, well, how do I expect my kids to act, right? Now, when the kids are in the game, you got the parents up in the stands and they're going crazy and they're they're making yelling at you guys or yelling at this and that. Well, it trickles down to those players, right? Because they're feeding off of that, right? And like, oh man, that's a bad call, and you got all the parents yelling and stuff. So it just adds so many different elements that it just explodes, right?
It's a great point. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We see it with the coaches. We know when if they're losing it on the bench, their players are going to lose it. And it's a trickle down effect, except it goes right up to the stands. Yeah. And a lot of times it's just because they're having a bad game. They're just not playing up to par. And I know some coaches try to use that to spur on their teams. I mean, it's a tactic that gets used from time to time. Am I right?
It does. You're right. You're right. Yeah. They do. There are some coaches that do that.
The officials are like Marvel Batman when he had to be the bad guy for a while and take the blame for killing whatever his name was. But the officials go through cycles throughout the game. Sometimes they're your friend when you call a penalty in your favor. Then sometimes you're playing bad, and then you have to be the evil villain.
Take a little bit of heat. Every call makes somebody happy. Think about that. Every call makes somebody happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Half the people in the building are happy with your call. The other half are not happy. It's just who's going to be more vocal about. They don't cheer for they do cheer sometimes when you make the call. They do cheer.
Yep.
Your hand up. So you do hear some people applaud for that, but every call makes somebody happy.
When people applaud when I call a penalty, because they're going a little bit over the edge up in the stands, and they clap and whatever, I instantly say in my head, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Isn't that like the cop that pulls somebody over on the highway that's been speeding, and when everybody drives by, they honk the horn because they know this guy should have been pulled over like a half hour ago. And the cop goes, yeah, he's definitely going to get the ticket. He deserves it. If everybody going by says he's got one coming, he made the right stop. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Chris, what are some things that bother you about some officials? No names, but I'm just saying, because there are things that as a group we do possibly wrong, or we may be approaching the wrong way. Is there anything that we can work on as officials with communication throughout the game? I mean, I know you and me throughout the game, we'll banter back and forth as I skate by the bench. But that's just my personality. I know not everybody's like that, but I'm just curious. Is there anything that we're doing wrong or that we could do better, or what do you think?
The whole thing is like every referee's different, right? And how they approach the game, and I kind of feel that, you just got to give it an opportunity, right? I think the one thing is like when I watch referees try to take control of the game right away, penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty, right? And it could be against two really good teams, right? And I've always been a type of person that's like, hey, let the game play out a little bit. If it's a little ticky-tacky, it depends. It's the discretion of the referee how ticky-tacky it is, right? But sometimes I've had officials that they call like the first 6 minutes of a game, they'd be 4 or 5, they'd be we're down 5-on-3, and you know what I mean? And it was just like, then they would get a penalty. The other team would get a penalty. It would be back and forth. It's like, hey, let's play a little 5-on-5 and see. This could actually be a good game, but like I said, you guys see something, maybe I don't, you know what I mean? But it is very hard in certain situations where maybe you're trailing the play. You see that you think it's a trip, but where I'm sitting, it might not be a trip. But I don't know. I mean, like I think with you got the 3-man system, the 4-man system. I like the 4-man system because you guys catch a lot. It is a lot of skating for a referee in a 3-man system. Like I would kind of like to see a 3-man system with 2 referees, right? The
college system, the 2-1.
International system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would kind of like to see that, but I mean, like I said, like I don't know the pros and cons of that, right? But at the end of the day, like I said, this is youth hockey, and but like I said, the game's getting, especially at the tier 2 level, especially at the tier 1 level, because I know that the tier 1 level, it's only a 3-man, correct?
It depends on the area you're in, but in Chicago, we run 3, yeah.
And that's crazy, right? I mean, if I was a AAA level, I'd rather have a 4-man, you know what I mean? Because that is a lot of skating for you. You're not going to catch everything as a 3-man,
it's a tremendous amount of skating. Let me tell you.
It's I don't want to say it, but you're set up for failure.
Yeah.
It's really hard to cover the entire rink in that situation. It really is. I mean, ask anybody. You got to get through the line. Like line changes going on. If you get on the bench side, it gets a little tougher to see some things because you got all the guys changing, and you got to get through that. So if you can stay on the other side of the ice as much as possible, it helps big time. You get to see a lot more.
Yeah, in the 3 official system, when if Chris, you've seen me work it before, and I'm almost never on the bench side. And that's not done. That's not done on
do our
accident.
best to stay off the bench side as much as possible.
Absolutely.
That's when you got a good linesman. When the good linesman knows he can pull that face off to the opposite side, that's always very helpful.
No, I don't need the face off moved where it shouldn't be. I just slowly behind play sneak across the ice.
Yeah.
Work my way around. I mean, and that's in those games, the tier 2 and the tier 3 midgets, or tier 1 midgets, those guys are moving, all of them at all the levels. And you get 2 teams, especially 2 teams that can stretch the ice. Now you've got a problem in the 3 official system. I'll be the first one to admit that. And I am number one person when I'm working a 3 official. If you need to cover for me, go right ahead. I don't care. Just don't run into me coming out of the zone as a linesman because I'd rather have somebody standing on that goal line than be thinking about it standing almost at the center line because the guy threw a stretch pass and I'm standing on the goal line and he's going in and shooting on the goalie. It's just I want to get the call right. It's nothing about my ego at that point.
And that's the thing. And that's why, like I said, I like to see it changed with a 3-man with the 2-1. But like I said, that's kind of up to you guys. I just go with the flow. You know what I mean? When it comes to games and stuff, I understand what you guys have to deal with and all that stuff. And that's why, I mean, you got to think about this too. And I don't think a lot of coaches realize, like, if referees are going to get sick of hearing the shit from, excuse my French, but from the parents and from the parents and the coaches and all that stuff and the players, it's like going to a job you don't like, right? How much longer you're going to do it for? And the whole thing is that I feel like, if coaches and parents and players, they don't realize, if they don't settle down, you may be losing some of the better referees. And then what's going to happen? You're going to get some of the newer referees that aren't experienced, right? I would rather have an experienced coach, an experienced referee where, number one, I know the game will be officiated well, but at the same time, also the safety thing too, right? And I think they don't realize that, not only that you're officiating a game, you're also trying to make it safe for all the players. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because all it takes is it's a quick second. And you know what I mean? Like I said, he could be paralyzed, so there's so many different elements at a referee that a lot of people don't realize, and that's why, on the bench, you know what I mean? Like, my focus is not on you guys, right? My focus is on the kids. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if I start going at you guys and start arguing calls and this, then guess what? That's taken away from the kids. It's taken away how to coach. You know what I mean? Because if I'm looking at something and I'm like, man, look at that. That's a bad call and stuff like that. And while the play is going on, then I'm missing other things. You know what I mean? You're not being a coach. Yeah. So that's why I just kind of try to teach my associate coaches, and I try to tell them, like, listen, just coach the game. Don't worry about the referees. They're going to call what they're going to call. You know what I mean? They may have a bad day, right? We may be in the box this many times, right? Just let's kill the penalty and just move on. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's just kind of like, I don't know, you guys have a tough job. Now I'm not trying to kiss your asses and all that stuff.
Hey, we'll take it, Chris. We'll take it. We got it on video now. We know.
You know what? Overwhelmingly with coaches that I've talked to throughout the rinks and stuff, a lot of them, I'd say 99.9% of them have the same feeling that you do, Chris, that they need to coach. I mean, are there, again, going to be some disagreements? Absolutely. But the good thing is we're lucky as a community. I think a lot of coaches do get it. It may get away from them because there is that emotional aspect, but I agree with you. And, I think from everybody, I think those arguments actually make the game a little bit better because now the game has a little more meaning. It does keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
Here's the other little one right there. I don't know if
there
see
you
him.
go. Oh, he's practicing now. See, it's 24/7 hocky in that house. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
There goes my wife's cabinets.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna have some puck marks on those. You know that's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Well, what do you think of the, like this year, it's all been pretty much two-man system for your games. Do you notice a big difference? Do you see more penalties, fewer penalties? Give me your thoughts on the two-man system that we're running pretty much this season, because it's been a short season and we're kind of short. So literally short guys.
Well, the thing is, I'm not much taller.
No, I mean short, like short staff. Yeah.
Yeah, our numbers are short.
Yeah, our numbers are shorter.
I think the two-man's been fine. You know what I mean? Like I think with a two-man, like I said, both guys can call penalties. They're seeing both sides of the ice. Like I said, I haven't had no problems there, or even other coaches when I talk to them. You know, I know, like, sometimes when we do tournaments and stuff like that, a lot of tournaments out there years in the past. Like if I go to Michigan, it's a two-man system. Right. And so at the end of the day, I mean, it's been fine. I didn't see any problem with it. And like I said, it with a two-man system too. If the coaches if they can control their kids, then there shouldn't be a problem, right? You know what I mean? I think sometimes when things happen, behind the scenes and stuff like that, trailing play, I think with a two-man, you kind of watch that, right? Instead of a referee just kind of watching and going with that play,
Right.
But I think it's been fine.
It's good to hear.
No, the only thing that I dislike about the two official system, when you get to the higher levels, because they're moving so fast, so plus they're so spread out on the surface. When you're the trailing official and the front official's forced to go into the zone, to the goal line, and there's that turnover at the blue line, and you're the back official, but you're doing your job. You can't be in two spots at once. And there's that quick turnover at the blue line, and you're standing there going, yeah, that's good, but then you get a video later and it, came out, that much. Well, there's not much we can do when we're supervising the players behind play and trying to cover the front of the play. And that's the only downside to the two official system that I have.
That blue line is critical at that age group. At that level, right. It's critical, and you just can't put a guy right on the line. You probably make 99.9% of the calls right, but you do stand the chance of one that's really close coming out, like over the line, and it looks like it's out, and maybe it's only 3/4 of the weight across the back edge or the determining edge of the line at that point. It's a little.
Absolutely.
How are those cabinets surviving over there, Chris?
Oh, yeah. He is on a rampage right now. There he goes. Yeah, there. But
that's how you toughen them up early, see?
Absolutely. Well, there's tons of sticks around here, I'll tell you that.
I bet.
A lot of injuries, I'll tell you. But yeah, no, the two-man system, no, I do see your point. It is very hard, especially if there's a trend, something happens and the play goes the other way. And like I said, there's a shortage of refs, you know what I mean? And the one thing I will notice, with the shortage of referees, some maybe it was a few of my games, I kind of saw their skating skill sets, right? Like they're not kind of like Brad, like you're out there, you're a good skater, you know what I mean? And the thing is, you see some that are kind of lacking those skill sets. And I think officials, they got to be good skaters, right? You know what I mean? Because some stuff happens so quick. But so that was the one thing I did notice with the, maybe not the quality of the calls, right? I think it's them keeping up with the play. I kind of saw that with just a few referees that are kind of newer that I have, especially with the showcases we've been up at Lake Forest Academy and college and all that stuff. Not bad officials, just you could just tell they had hard time with their skating, but other than that, that's something they can improve on, right? But I thought they called a good game. They were very attentive, and because I think they want to do such a good job. And I didn't have any problems with it.
Yeah. Well, now you've got what, U16 and U18 currently, Chris?
I do. Well, I'm the midget director at the Sabres, so I oversee all three teams. But historically, for the past, 16 years. I do everything back to back, 16s and 18s. You know, I'm just I enjoy it so much. You know what I mean? And it is a lot, but you know, like, what do I let go? You know what I mean? You know, I know one of these days, you know, with my kid, you know, all three of my kids, if they play hockey, I'll have to, you know, reach that crossroads and kind of decide what I'm going to do. You know, maybe go down to one team. Like, I don't want to stop coaching because it's awesome. I love what I do. Right.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a point where I won't be able to do the two teams anymore. And, but you know, I don't know, when that time comes, it comes, you know, but right now I coach them both. I enjoy it. And that's the thing. It's a lot of fun, you know?
So if you had one thing that you could change with hockey, if there was a rule or something that you'd like to see different, what would it be, Chris? What would it be?
Wow. I mean, if I was a
one
player,
change you could put into amateur hockey, what would it be?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
Because there's probably more than one, huh?
No, I don't know. I mean, I think every rule has a purpose, right? You know what I mean? I think you see all the rules have evolved over the years that made the game better and all that stuff. Like I think what Bottoms and below, you have the icing that you can't ice the puck.
Right.
Then
until you hit U15. Once you hit U15, which is technically midget, then you can ice the puck. So Bantam and below.
Yeah, Bantam and below. I mean, that was always a question of mine. I should ask you guys when I saw you. You know, and how come that's not carried over to the midgets? You know what I mean? Like, why has there been talk about that?
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit.
Yeah. So
you know, that's up for discussion right now for the rule. This is a rule change here. And that is one of the rules that's actually on the table to be changed, that they would stop allowing anybody to ice the puck at any age level, all the way including adult hockey.
Oh, okay.
On a penalty kill.
Adult hockey, though, they struck it down, I believe.
Oh, Scott. They did. Okay.
We were lucky enough. We got the 240 pages of proposed rule changes.
Oh, did you see a shortened version, like the Cliff Notes version?
Very early on, we got it. Like, I think it was like 3 days after it was let. It might have been 2 or 3 days. We got it from someone, and we covered it. But yeah, there's a proposal, and it was slated by the rules committee that it should pass. That doesn't mean that it's going to pass, but they felt that it should. So they'll vote on all that. Actually, it's coming right around the corner. USA Hockey.
Matter of fact, so if you have a new version that I haven't seen of the Cliff Notes, what did they decide with tag up offsides? Because they wanted to eliminate tag up offsides at all ages too.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't remember. I haven't looked at it in a while. The one that stuck out to me that was flagged to be approved. Now, Chris, this one would affect you guys. Was if the games were under 14 minutes, penalties would be a minute, 14-minute period.
It would be under, if you're playing under 12 minutes, I believe it is, penalties would be 1 minute, and periods that are 12 minutes up to 17 minutes would be a minute and a half, and you would only have 2-minute penalties on 18-minute plus games, 18 to 20-minute games. So that means essentially high school
from the affiliate
would become minute and a half penalties. Bantams would be minute and a half penalties. Midgets would be minute and a half. Well, midgets, U16 would probably be minute and a half. Midget major would probably be, well, not really, because you guys play 17s. So they would be minute and a half penalties instead of 2-minute penalties.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that's a good idea.
It's on the table.
I think 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes at the midget level. I think that's great. You know, if you want to go a minute and a half I think minute and a half from pews below is fine. I think Bams and above, right? I think you go 2 minutes. You know, I don't know, but like you said, like, and especially the icing thing. You know, I'm good either way. You know what I mean? But I think we just got to be consistent. You know, and I think also too. I mean, you guys are talking about a rule book that big. I mean, the more rules, the more they're going to break, right? You know, I've always said that, you know, but the thing is, like, you gotta, I mean, the rules got to be designed to number one is for the development of hockey thinking, the cognitive part of it, but also too, with the skill part, right? When you go no icing, I think that kind of makes the player think, I can't rip the puck down. I got to put that puck in the open ice. I got to loft it somewhere where it's not going to cross that line. That's a skill, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of like that rule,
Yeah, I think players have adjusted. I mean, have we had that rule now for 8 years or 4 years? 8 years, right?
4
years. Okay. But you've seen a lot of the players learning to bank the puck at like a 45 or a 35 degree angle to get the angle to get it out of the zone anyway. The only time that really goes bad is when it's 5-on-3. To be real honest with you, 5-on-3 can be pretty painful to watch when they can't ice the puck. Even if they get a hold of the puck and they can't ice it, 5-on-3 becomes a little painful.
But the thing is, Scott, how did they end up in that situation?
Yeah, well,
making
those ticky-tacky calls will do it, right? All right, let's break. We got a couple comments I just want to throw up. Andy Hudson, we enjoy having him here. He says, always enjoyed reffing games with Chris coaching. Great perspective for the various roles on the ice. Absolutely. Lyle Township said, did anyone propose the 2-point line? That was proposed back in the 2000s. Oh, my gosh. I don't believe we have a 2-point line that we saw in any of the rule proposal changes. Or a 3-point line where you can score from, if you score from beyond the red line, maybe it's...
Actually, was it my game with you where the guy scored from the other end of the ice? Or was that my Sunday game? I worked so many games.
Oh, no. We didn't have anybody. Okay. You talking about on an empty net or are you talking about on a loaded net?
Loaded net.
No, we didn't have anybody score from anywhere outside the perimeter.
So this guy's standing on his own goal line, and he just flea flicks it up in the air, right, to get it out, dumps it. It takes a wicked bounce sideways. The goalie comes out to play it, right? And as he comes out to play it, he accidentally lifted his stick up, and the thing goes right in the net. And they were shorthanded, too, on top of it. So they scored a shorthanded goal from 200 feet away. I felt so bad for the goalie when I skated by him.
I sympathize for the goalie because I was a goalie, and I'll never forget. I made the mistake one time at a tournament of trying to go play a puck without stopping it first, and I whiffed it, and it went in. Fortunately, my teammates bailed me out. We won the game. No big deal. Only happened once. I learned my lesson. I never did that again. I always stopped the puck before I went to shoot the puck.
But going back to that 2-point line thing.
Yeah.
So that's Bill Green. So he used to be the president of IHOA when I was younger. And somebody did actually propose, I don't know from where, but I remember hearing the story that there would be a 2-point line.
Oh, geez.
So you could score a goal and it would be 2 points. And to me, as a traditionalist, I don't like how much they've changed. I mean, it's my job to enforce those rules, but I like the game a little more on the contact side than where we're going. But that's is a game where we're deciding. So does that mean you're down by a goal and you pull your goalie, but because the goalie's been pulled, now the guy is going to shoot from a 2-point area instead of a 1-point area, and that's going to affect the outcome? Or are you going to have a situation where you got a player in front of the net that maybe tips a puck that you don't know is tipped, but the shot came from, maybe above the top of the circle, which is the 2-point area, and now you've got a tough decision to make in a big game. Was that puck tipped? I'm going to go with Scott. Your line of thinking is probably along the same line of everybody else, and why it didn't become a rule, because there are too many what ifs.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to, look at a rule even when they have it and say, well, what if this happens? You just don't think of it. I'll go back to the standard, the playoffs. Montreal's playing. Puck goes on the goalie's back in the crease, and the defenseman covers it on top of the goalie. This is the NHL, right? I mean, these guys are the pros, right? Yeah. Well, they didn't have a situation for it. So the four refs get together. Is that a penalty
shot or not? Because he's in the crease, but it's not in the crease that you're covering the puck.
All right, hold on here. So it's on his back, and
I would say it's in the crease, but go ahead.
I'll tell you the exact line of thinking that you have to take. Okay, so number one, did he cover the puck? right? Yeah, he did. Number 2, okay, did he cover it in the crease? Well, it's on the goalie's back. Think about the definition of the crease, though. It goes out to the end of the red line,
and it
right?
goes up,
and
up
it goes
to the
crossbar. He's in the crease, so he covered it. It doesn't matter that's on the goalie's back. The referees go, yeah, it's a penalty shot. Okay. So they go out and they have a penalty shot, and afterwards they change the rule. I mean, it's amazing. Like, there was a couple years before that. I love this story. Guys coming down the ice on a breakaway in the NHL, gets high sticked, right? Causes an injury. Okay, so you automatically, he's got a double minor, right? Okay, does he get a penalty shot in the minor? Or does he just get the double minor because he took away the scoring opportunity? Now what? Fouled him directly from behind. So the guys got together and they're like, this isn't in here. And they're like, well, let's do this. We'll give them the shot, the option for the shot, or they could in 2 minutes, or they get the 4. That's what they did. And the NHL goes, that's how we would have done it. I mean, and this is the top tier of hockey. I mean, stuff happens all the time. And our game is so complex. I always like to put it that way. Like, thank you for acknowledging the rule book is like this, because my kids play lacrosse, and the rule book, I think, was like 78 pages. I read it for my own personal knowledge, just because I know nothing about lacrosse. But yeah, I mean, situations happen. And, if you see something, anybody, parent, coach, player, anybody can put in for a rule change when it's a rule change year. Yeah, doesn't matter who you are. As a community, our game changes as a community. And that's what we have to enforce as referees. So we don't make the rules, but we have to make you play within the rules for safety, for sporting contests, which I think some people every once in a while miss. There are some stuff where you can pick, did that happen? Yeah, but the guy tripped the guy. Yeah, but the puck went right off his stick to his own teammate, and the guy rifled it on net. Did it really affect it? It depends on the game. Depends on the situation. Not every time, it's tough. So, but sorry, got my soapbox of stories there.
All right, we got a couple more comments, because we were talking about penalty length. Then Karen joins us. Yep. Hi, Karen. She says some infractions deserve a 2-minute penalty. Well, you're right, Karen, but if they go down to a 1.5-minute penalty, then the severe penalty will be 1.5 minutes versus, is that going to be 1.5 minutes plus 10? Or I think misconducts come down too, if I'm not mistaken. I think misconducts go down to 8. I believe
it was covered in there. There was a lot in there.
So you're going down to, instead of a 2 and a 10, now you're going to get 1.5 minutes and an 8. Now, I could see it, honestly, like I could see in a mite or a squirt game, like kid gets called for a tripping, put him in for a minute. They're playing 11 or 12-minute period. Yeah, give him a minute. I mean, it's – but on the other hand, the kid comes in and charges and wrecks some kid from behind into the boards. Minute penalty for that? Are you kidding? Well, of course he's going to get the minute plus the 8. Now, will that be so? Is it 1.5 minutes and 8? So is that 1.5 minutes? Maybe he's going to get 6 minutes for destroying some guy. Don't know. I forget what that was.
Scott. I honestly don't remember. We did that show quite a while ago.
Yeah,
but I get the rationale of why they're doing it, because if you're under 12 minutes, when you give a player a penalty, that's 1 minute, it's 1/12 or 1/10 of the period. Just like if you have a 20-minute period and you give them 2, it's 1/10.
Right.
They're trying to bring those into line, because now
it makes sense.
A 2-minute penalty for 11 minutes periods, that's a long time. I mean, that's 1/5 of the period that you're penalized.
Yep. All right. Get one more. I got to bring a comment up here. Mike Wagner, the legendary Mike Wagner, has joined us, and he wants to know what the Buy Me a Coffee is. So let's put up the Buy Me a Coffee, and then I'm going to explain this. So you got to give me a second here to do this. But essentially, I kind of cut Chris out there. Let me get Chris back in there. Right. Can I add Chris? Oh, this scene is locked. Hang on. I'm bringing you back in, Chris, so I can do this. There you go.
All good.
You're getting better at this.
So the Buy Me a Coffee, guys, is if you'd like to help support our channel, because Brad and I have been footing the bill for this for over a year now. Over a year, I don't know. We need an anniversary show, or it's right coming up on a year. We're on the cusp. We're on the cusp.
Yep.
Yeah, we're down to the clock is ticking on a year. But the Buy Me a Coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom, and you can buy us a coffee. I think a coffee costs $4.
But
Some people
all I
buy
know
multiple coffees. They want to buy us each a coffee, or they want to buy 2 coffees. But basically, it's just a nice way of supporting the channel, and we certainly appreciate what you guys do when you do that. Here's the link if you'd like to do that. And I know a number of you that are regular watchers that check us out every week, and we're very grateful for that support and for you being here, because, without you guys being here, this just wouldn't be as much fun. I mean, I enjoy talking to Brad, but I talk to Brad at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning after we get home from games, and then basically fall asleep after that because, we're worn out. But we have some really good conversations late night. So as a matter of fact, we finally skated some games together. We had not skated since Lake Forest. I think we had a Lake Forest High School JV game last year in the playoffs. Not last year, like the year before. So we finally actually skated some games over the weekend. So I finally got to see Brad and got to see Chris. So what a great weekend, all of us. And then even something else we were going to touch on is the camaraderie that's involved in hockey. And Brad and I went to Portillo's afterwards. Yeah, we gave Portillo's a plug there. They should buy us a coffee. They don't even buy us a Diet Coke, okay?
I would agree.
But we went out, and fortunately, it was still open at almost 10 o'clock at night. And we grabbed a sandwich and talked for a few minutes and kind of caught up a little bit, which was great. And, I encourage all you guys, the ref community, it's no different from a hockey team. We're a hockey team, but we just don't have the 17 or 20 guys in the room. We got 2, 4, 6, 8 in the room. But, get to know some of your fellow referees. Go out, have a coffee with them, have a sandwich with them after a game or before a game or whatever. Get to know each other. I mean, that's part of the fun of what we do is the camaraderie that's part of hockey. I mean, the best part about men's league is, besides the guys, is the beer. Okay, but you got to get together and have the beer. And we could change this to buy me a beer. We could make this buy me a beer or buy me a pizza. So I'll tell you what, in the comments, if you guys want to put in there, should we stay with buy me a coffee, which we thought was just kind of friendly? Buy me a pizza. You could have buy me a pizza, or you could have buy me a beer. We could change it. We could make a change for that. And maybe for some of you guys, we have to have different things on different days. Maybe that's what we got to do. We got to have multiple branding.
It is a rule change year this year, right?
Right,
That's
exactly.
It.
So we can change it. But, that's what the buy me a coffee is. So thanks for asking the question, Mike, and hopefully you'll buy us a coffee, Mike.
No, you know what? If you want to see something really amusing, right? Because we haven't gotten rid of any of our old shows, you could definitely tell that this was definitely paid for by us if you go watch the first show.
Oh yeah,
and the second show, because
definitely
it's like night and day. And I don't even know if this is still gimmicky, but that the first couple shows, it was rough. I'll be the first one to admit it.
Actually, so here's the thing. The software has gotten so much better over time also, because we kind of got in when eCam was starting. That's the software that we like to use. But we actually have a green screen setup that we could do. I have my green screen. We haven't fooled around with this. Brad, I think, got his finally. But,
I got it.
We can set this up so we can actually be in some different scenarios and some different situations. So we're going to do that. That's coming. It's not something that we've forgotten about, because I've had my green screen here for like 6 or 8 weeks already, and I think you have too, Brad, and we just haven't put this into play yet. But basically, since Brad and I are never in the same place together, we can actually look like we're sitting together if we do green screen. So it's
nice.
That's coming, And, Chelly, you're welcome to join us. If you get a green screen, all you got to do is put some green paper behind you and some lights. You could sit in the same room with us and feel like you're a part of the referee community now.
Absolutely. We love it. We love it.
Chris, do you have anything from the coach's standpoint that you want to ask us? I mean, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know if there's anything that we could answer that would, maybe something weird that we do that people don't realize, or I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really nothing. I mean, I know a lot of coaches. I talked to a lot of coaches before and after games. I mean, like you said, I it's not like the referees is like when you get into a game is the big topic. You know what I mean? I mean, I will say I won't mention any names. There are a couple referees out there that a couple coaches mentioned. They're like, oh God, we got this guy again. And it is what it is, right? Sometimes as coaches, but same thing as referees, sometimes you get a bad name.
You got
not
the
a bad
referees
name.
that go, oh no, not this coach again. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it works both ways. It works, but I think at the higher level, we all know each other a little bit more because we see each other a little more frequently, and I think there's a little more respect because they know that getting those games, you probably have a little more experience than some of the other people, just as you have more experience having the great teams that you have. They wouldn't. You're not a level 1 coach handed a, Central State's midget U18 team and go, here you go, have fun with them.
Yeah.
So we kind of get that too, but I had to throw that in for the people that aren't like in the coaching or officiating business. You have to understand that there are levels that the referees have to achieve to be able to get these games, and they are evaluated. Not only are they trained, but, they're tested, and then they are evaluated amongst their peers and things of that nature to be able to get these types of assignments that put them into the positions that they're in. And, I mean,
and you work your way up.
As the coaches, you work your way up,
Yep.
And that's why, you do have a lot of, I'm not going to say more issues, but you do have some issues sometimes with the newer coaches that are, maybe working a squirt or a Pee-wee game or something of that nature. They don't have a ton of experience, or maybe they're a parent or a dad helping out, coaching a team at a park district facility where they don't have the budget and all the training that goes with it. And, you got to start, we all have to start somewhere. You might have experience as a hockey player, but we all have to start somewhere when we move into one of these positions.
I got a really funny story from when I started officiating. So this will be my 23rd season this upcoming year. And I know the first might travel game that I did. Okay. I'm 16 years old. The one team is down by one goal. Right. And, I'm reffing and, I had refereed a million might house games at that point because they used to progress you up. And the team's losing, and all of a sudden I see 6 players on the ice, and I hit the whistle. They pulled their goalie. Yeah, you feel like an idiot after that one.
Oh, come on, no way.
I was 16 years old, and they pulled their goalie, and my partner comes over and goes, hey, they pulled their goalie. And I'm like, what? And he's like, look at the time. Goalie's gone. I'm like,
God.
Everybody starts somewhere. It happens, and you know what? Things happen where every once in a while, an icing still happens to this day.
Yeah,
and you blow it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Chris. So what's your take on the icing when there's an error made on the icing?
That's a good question.
And the face-off becomes basically a last play face-off. So let's say the opposing team shoots the puck down into your zone. And your guy comes back, and it shouldn't have been icing, but icing is called. Where would you like to see that face-off take place?
Well, if it was a wrong call?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one second. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm at an interview right now. Okay, but you gotta be quiet. Okay. I talked to Mom. I mean, I think at the end of the day, if there was a mistake on the referees, right, and I think if there's some sort of error, I'd say just center ice,
Well, you should send that in, okay, because that's not where the face-off takes place. So let's say the opposing team sends the puck down the ice. They're killing a penalty, and it's now in your zone, and it's crossed the goal line, and the official blows the whistle for that icing. The face-off's in your end zone.
Yeah. Oh, so you're asking me the question, or are you?
Yeah, I'm asking. No, I'm asking you.
Where it is.
What's your thoughts on that?
Okay.
So that face-off would take place in your end zone. Okay, so now you've got a defensive face-off to take care of when shouldn't have even had the whistle. Versus it coming out at least to the neutral zone. You say center ice. At one point, many years ago, before I've only been doing this for 9 years, but it used to come out to center ice. They stopped that probably, 12, 15, 16 years ago, somewhere around there, I'm guessing.
Probably like 20, probably 13 or 14 years ago. I was in my 20s working junior hockey.
Yeah.
Because they then ice also back in the day, when you would ice the puck, if the puck went through the crease on the other side, it nullified the icing.
Right.
Oh, but that's even longer. I mean,
Yeah,
that could be 20 years gone.
That's been a long time.
I mean, do you guys like that rule? I mean, do you think that rule should be changed?
Well, I personally would like to see it go to the neutral zone because I just think it's fair because we're the ones that blew it and we're actually penalizing the team by blowing it. It's our mistake, not their mistake. So that's why I personally would like to see it come out. I'm not saying to center ice, but it should at least come out in the neutral zone, where an offside face-off would take place. I think that would be a little bit fairer for everybody. And I think, I've actually, I had this happen to my men's league team a number of years ago at Smokin. We were trying to pull our goalie. It was a playoff game, and the officials that were working the game made that mistake. And now I had to put my goalie back into the net versus having my goalie out of the net and an opportunity to possibly tie the game. Maybe, maybe not. But, so we kind of got penalized for that. It's a little tough. So that's why I personally would like to see it move out to neutral zone.
Yeah. You too, Brad? Is that how you feel?
So I think it should come out to the neutral zone, to the face-off at the blue line, not center ice, because center ice is a face-off where neither team has an advantage, but yet as you dump the puck down the ice, you should have a little advantage because you did legally get that puck down the ice. Now, you were penalized unintentionally, which stinks, but that's just life. I think the face-off inside the zone, unfortunately, I think that penalizes the team that didn't really do anything wrong, and the other team is penalized as well. But they would have the face-off advantage outside the zone, not in center ice. So that's the way I look at it. But the way it is and the way it stands, face-off is in that last play. So I'll continue refereeing my games, and that's where it'll be until somebody tells me to do it somewhere else.
That's where it is, and a lot of people still do not know that rule. And you have coaches, when that happens and they are freaked out by it, it's like, no, it goes to center, right? It's okay. It's going to go to center. No, it's not going to go to center. It's going to go right there.
It is a rule change here. Let's do this.
It's like, hey, you can write to have that rule changed, but you should write your congressman, get it done.
Scott,
I can't believe we're already at the end of an hour. Chris, you've been a fantastic guest. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us, and your entire family. Yeah, all the boys are working out, so you guys know they're getting coached 24/7 in that house. They're going to be ready to play.
Dude, they're taking advantage of me. I'm telling you that. I should be 20 pounds. I should be 20 pounds lighter with these guys. How they go every day.
Right.
But hey, it's truly a pleasure, Scott and Brad. Thank you so much for having me on the show. This is awesome. Okay, buddy. Like I said, I didn't know anything about this. You know what I mean? So I think this is great. This is great for the community. The hockey community. I'll definitely spread the word to all the coaches about this. Because like I said, I didn't know anything that this was going on. That you guys had this podcast, and I think it was great, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Zach.
But no, I like I said, and like I said, coaches like myself, we do appreciate what you guys do, the time, the effort, and keeping the game safe for all the players. So, it's a special thanks to you all and to all the officials out there. We have all your backs. So you know what I mean. Just like I said, keep teaching these young referees. Become better officials, and like it is, like I said, there is a shortage. We need to start grooming the future. Future of the officials. Like I said, most importantly, the safety of these kids. You are crazy today, aren't you?
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks a lot, boys. I really appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it. If you ever have anybody that you think we should put on the show, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have some ideas or some additional guests. So think about that, Chris.
I do have somebody for you.
Okay.
All right. Brett Sopel. I should get.
Oh yeah, we'd love to have Sopel. Sopel's got some broadcast experience too. He used to do stuff over at NBC.
Absolutely, seriously, I'll give him a call and like I said, connect you guys. I think he'd really enjoy this too. And then like I said, he like maybe I'll plug his foundation. He's got a foundation that he he's really passionate about. And so,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
yeah, definitely. I'll definitely make the connection with you guys. He's a great guy.
You know,
what I
we
mean?
love to talk hockey. That's what it really comes down to. So we're really glad that you could join us. And, you know, the forum here, the whole idea was that we could open up the referee community, you know, to speak with coaches and players and parents and fans and things of that nature so that you could get questions answered, you know, because people always walk in on, you know, Sunday morning like, oh, last night we had this play and this happened.
Yeah.
You know, why is it called this way? What's the deal? So, you know, we'd like to have more of that involvement from, you know, the people that are viewing, and they can come in and ask some of these questions, and we'll give them an honest opinion or an honest answer. And
if we don't know it,
if we don't, we'll find out. We'll find out for you. So, you know, that's part of the forum here. So,
Very
again,
cool.
Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. We truly appreciate it. It was great having you, and we'll look forward to seeing you out on the ice. Have a great rest of your season, and good luck to your team.
Appreciate it, guys. You guys have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, you too.
Bye, Zach.
Bye.
Bye. See you later. Good luck with your season now, okay? All right, so that's going to kind of wrap it up for us, guys. Anything else you want to add before we go, Brad?
No, but we were going to talk about players leaving the penalty bench, but we didn't even get to that.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week because that's almost that's going to be a lengthy discussion anyway. So when you guys join us next week, we're going to talk about that, and that's players leaving the penalty box, possibly before they should be leaving the penalty box, or having somebody substitute for them before they leave the penalty box. Let's switch this up since Chris is.
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah. But, yeah, cover that in detail next week. I think that's a good topic, and we got a couple other good ones as well. So it's just been a fun season, so we just kind of continue here with what we do. And
join Scott Smokin Silz and Brad Bauruck every Wednesday for Ref Room. It's hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans. Join in the fun every Wednesday at noon. You can check out the replays on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. That's the Ref Room every Wednesday with Scott and Brad, two guys that love to talk hockey.
Yep, that's accurate. That's what we like to do.
No, that was good. I haven't heard that.
You haven't heard that one? Oh, okay.
No,
right,
no.
I think we might do a new intro for the show in the next couple weeks too. When I get motivated and get a little time, I've been doing a lot of production work. So that's it. All right, guys. Again, we thank you for joining us. We do it every Wednesday starting at noon right here. If you haven't already done it, please hit the subscribe button and the notifications button so that you can be alerted every time we have one of these wonderful little get-togethers. Like every Wednesday, and Brad gets his peanut butter and jelly sandwich on, and we go from there. Are you sporting a little injury there, Brad?
Yeah, I got hit in the wrist with a puck.
I got one 3-4 weeks ago. I'm still numb from it.
Well, it was bad enough that I actually decided to go get an x-ray. The whole top of my hand and my wrist and everything was swollen, and I couldn't move it up and down. Today, though, I can at least move it. Oh, you can't see it anymore, but I can at least move it up and down. I couldn't at all on Monday. So got it looked at. I'm okay. So lucky. I got just a bone bruise. So, but it's okay. It happens. Part of the game.
That's right. All right, guys. For the rest of you, stay safe out there. We'll see you next Wednesday at noon. I'm Scott Smokin Silz with my man Brad Bauruck. Peace out, everybody. Have a good week.